Good morning from Athens, Greece. I am in Syntagma Square, the main square in Athens, one of the main squares in central Athens. If you ever travel to Greece and you're staying in the area and you want to get to the airport via the express bus, this is where you get the bus, right there. It is called the X95 and it takes you straight to the airport and you pick it up here on Syntagma Square. Just an FYI for anybody that is going to be in Athens and wants to figure out how do I get to the airport from Syntagma Square. Well, this is a spot that you come to. So let's talk about Greece, let's talk about Iran, let's talk about Poland and Ukraine, let's talk about Belarus and Ukraine. Let's do an update with what's going on in Ukraine, in Severodonetsk and Zaporozhye. And let's do a clown world courtesy of Canada's Finance Minister, Christoforou, and the G7. So let's begin with Greece and Iran. And just a couple of days ago, we had an Iranian ship that was, well, let me get it right. Let me get this story right. An Iranian ship called the Pegasus, which was previously owned by the Russian company Transmorflot, and was sanctioned by the U.S. on February 22nd, 2 days before the hostilities in Ukraine began. Transmorflot itself was sanctioned on May 8th, but Pegasus, renamed Lana on March 1st, was already under Iranian ownership by then and has been flying Tehran's flag since May 1st. So it was a ship that used to be under management and under a Russian flag, known as the Pegasus, and it was actually seized by Greece in February, then Greece let it go. But the Pegasus renamed itself to the Lana, then switched flags and is now under an Iranian flag and under Iranian management, was seized by the Greek authorities under the orders of the United States. And so they seized this ship. The second time this ship has been seized. Now it's called the Lana. Now it's under Iranian ownership. It's carrying Iranian oil, and the U.S., obviously, they've been targeting the ship for a while now. They couldn't get the Greek authorities to confiscate the oil the first time, but it looks like they've now done it because this ship has been seized by Greek authorities, and they've brought in another ship to take the oil from this current tanker that's been seized. They're taking the oil, they're moving it to another ship, and that ship is going to sail to the United States. In other words, this is piracy. This is robbery. And my video today has a pirate world theme to it. Not a clown world theme. It has a pirate world theme to it. So this is flat out theft. This is piracy. There's no other way to describe it. The Greek authorities got the order from the US. They said, seize this ship. The Greek authorities did as the U.S. directed them to do, and then they brought in another ship, and they're going to take the goods that are on that Iranian ship, move it over to the new ship, and they're going to transport those goods, in this case oil, to the United States. Is this how Biden is planning to solve the oil crisis in the U.S.? High seas piracy, is that his plan? Anyway, what a terrible look for Greece. What a terrible act of piracy this is. It really is an act of piracy. But the story does not end there, because yesterday, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yesterday, Iranian authorities, they seized 2 Greek ships in Iranian waters. And the Iranians, they made no secret about it. They said, we are seizing these 2 Greek vessels because of what Greece did to our oil tanker. The Islamic Republic has decided to take punitive measures against Greece after it seized an Iranian tanker and let the U.S. government confiscate its crude oil, reported Noir News, an outlet affiliated with the Iranian Republican Guard. I mean, just straight up, the Iranians just said straight up, you want to steal stuff from us? You want to act like a bunch of pirates? Well, we can also act like a bunch of pirates. And These Greek tankers, they were in the Persian Gulf on Friday. And from what I understand, the Iranian military, they landed helicopters on these tankers and they confiscated them, 2 of them. The Greek authorities are upset. The Greek Foreign Ministry confirmed the seizure of the 2 vessels and demanded their release. Iranian media likewise confirmed the capture of the ships, making clear it was reprisal against the actions of the government in Athens. More than 25% of the world's tankers fly the Greek flag. Greece has had very good relations with Iran. Actually, Greece had, and I say the word had, excellent relations with just about every country in the world except for Turkey. That's the only country that Greece does not have good relations with. Traditionally, Greece has had good relations with every country. Now, our relations with Russia and with so many other countries, and now Iran, it's in the gutter. It is in the freaking gutter now. And we've been forced to choose sides. We chose a side. We decided not to stay neutral. And not only are we choosing sides, but we've decided to act like a bunch of pirates. And I say this as a Greek, and I'm not happy about saying this, but there's no other way I could describe what happened. The Greeks acted like a bunch of pirates under the orders of the US, and they confiscated oil to deliver it to the United States. And the Iranians, well, they seized 2 Greek ships, and they're not hiding the reasons for seizing those ships. They're just straight up saying, we're taking these ships and we're seizing them because of what you guys did to us. They're straight up about it. They're honest about it. The Greeks are furious, but sorry, Greece. Sorry, Mitsotakis government. And sorry, Greek shippers. You don't get off the hook with this one. There's no, this goes against international law and the law of the seas, because those were the statements coming out of the Greek government. They were outraged. Actually, the Greek government said this is an act of piracy by Iran. Really? That was a statement that they made. Really, Greek government? Iran acted like a bunch of pirates? Sorry. You guys started this. Greece started this. And the worst part about it is that Greece did it under the orders of the US, under the orders of Potato Head Biden, of Bidenopoulos. They did it under the orders of Bidenopoulos. Greece isn't even going to get the oil. They're going to deliver it to the US. There's one word for that: lapdog. Lapdog. Poodle. It just looks so bad. And we've never had problems with Iran. Greeks have never had problems with Iran. We're 2 countries with amazing historical civilizations. And we've always had good relations with Iran, and now you have this as well. Okay. Not a good look at all, but, you want to act like pirates? Well, 2 can play at that game, it seems. And the interesting thing about this story, I was thinking about it, before Russia's special military operation and this fair world order that is being built by Russia and China, and it's going to include Iran and much of Eurasia and a lot of Asia and maybe even Turkey, who knows. But before this fair world order, this multipolar world came into existence, I don't think Iran would have seized the 2 Greek ships. And I don't think they would have come out with a statement saying, yeah, we took those ships because what you guys did to us. Countries are emboldened now, and they're emboldened to act. It's kind of like that bully that was always beating up like the weaker kids. And one day another kid kind of stood up and hit that bully back. And now the other kids that used to be bullied by that bully are also standing up to that bully. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we're seeing now. I'm not saying that the U.S. is a bully, but the Biden White House, they're definitely a bunch of thugs. The Biden White House, they're a bunch of thugs. And these types of actions are just thuggish, man. They're just what a bunch of pirates. the Biden the pirate. Yeah, you're seeing that Iran is emboldened now. Iran is saying, you know what? Russia stood up to them. Russia's out of the system. Maybe it's time for us to also stand up to the collective West. We're not going to take this piracy crap. Anyway, that is a developing story. Let's see what happens. I imagine that you're going to have a trade-off. Iran's going to get their ship back with all the oil, and Greece will get their ships back as well. That's what's going to probably happen if I had to guess. So let's talk about Poland and Ukraine, because we have two stories here going on. The first story is former Ukraine President Poroshenko, and this story actually deals with two former Ukrainian presidents. So the former President Poroshenko, the guy that was in office before Zelensky won, the chocolate king, because he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire chocolate manufacturer, and they call him the chocolate king. Porky Poroshenko is what I like to call him. He's a parliament member now, but for some reason Zelensky wants to put him in prison, and he's actually said that Poroshenko committed treason because he wanted to buy coal from Donetsk and Lugansk in 2015. And so Zelensky created these trumped up charges to say that Poroshenko committed treason, and they're trying to put Poroshenko in prison. But Poroshenko, he was in Kiev. He's not hiding out. He's a parliament member, and he tried to leave the country to go to Poland for some like NATO conference or like a NATO think tank conference, something like that. And he was stopped at the border by Polish authorities, and they didn't let him cross over. And the weird part about this story is that the Polish authorities, it's not like they had any outstanding warrants or anything like that. Excuse me. It's not like they had any reason to not prevent them to go into Poland. As a matter of fact, a lot of Ukrainian parliament members are outraged by this because they're saying he's a Ukrainian parliament member. Why aren't you letting him travel to Poland? The Polish authorities at the border, they said, you know what? We've gotten some sort of order that this is on a political level and has nothing to do with immigration or anything like that. And they just backed off. And I thought that was really weird. And they didn't let Poroshenko enter Poland. At least that's what I heard. I don't know if he eventually made it to Poland. But the border patrol in Poland was like, this is a political issue. And they bumped it up to the politicians to deal with it. And I just thought to myself, that is so weird. What is going on with the Polish political class and the Zelensky regime? What exactly is the relationship there? I really would like to know. Why are they stopping a Ukrainian MP, a Ukrainian parliament member, who has no warrants or no issues with his travel documentation? Why are they stopping him from entering Poland? Why? Zelensky gave the orders to the Polish authorities, and he said, I want you guys to prevent Poroshenko from leaving the country. And it looks like the Polish political class, they agreed. There's a lot more to the relationship between Zelensky and Duda and Morawiecki and Kaczynski. There's a lot more to this relationship that meets the eye, a lot more. But, Poroshenko, Zelensky is targeting him, as Zelensky has targeted any media that criticizes him, as Zelensky has targeted any other political opposition. He has Medvedchuk under arrest, and he has him also confessing to certain things that Poroshenko, actually what Poroshenko did, he has Medvedchuk testifying right now as to crimes that Poroshenko committed. So for some reason, the Zelensky regime, and now they're being helped by Poland, they want Poroshenko out of the picture. They want him out of the picture. And I'm not a fan of Poroshenko. I despise the guy. He started the war in East Ukraine under the orders of Biden. Biden told Poroshenko, who was president then, to launch the war against the east of Ukraine. So I'm not a fan of Poroshenko. I think he's a despicable person. But I'm still trying to figure out, why does Zelensky want him out of the picture? What does Poroshenko know, or what does Poroshenko have in Zelensky that they want to put him in prison? So the next story has to do with Poland and Ukraine. It has to do with another former president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. He was the Ukrainian president that was overthrown during the Obama EU coup d'etat in 2013-2014. Now, Yanukovych came out with a statement, and I think this is the first time that we've heard Yanukovych speak about what's going on in Ukraine. And I think he's in exile in Russia. And he came out with a statement saying that Ukraine risks getting absorbed by Poland. It risks merging with Poland, are his exact words. So Poroshenko came out with a statement, and he said in 2014, already Ukraine was designated by certain Western countries as a territory from which a total weakening of Russia should begin, precisely as a territory and not as an independent state, not as a people wishing to live in peace with all its neighbors, not excluding Russia. The current conflict may bring fatal consequences for the country, Yanukovych said, and he noted that Ukraine risks not only losing vast territories in its south and east, but also complete destruction of its sovereignty. Then Yanukovych went on to say that the ongoing situational rapprochement with Poland threatens a situation where Ukraine may be forced to de facto merge with it, i.e. merge with Poland. So that is coming from Yanukovych. Now look, Yanukovych, I do believe he is in exile in Russia. He may be making these statements because maybe the Russian authorities are telling him to make these statements. Maybe he's making these statements because he knows Ukraine better than most people. Obviously, he knows the inner workings of Ukraine. Maybe he knows something that we don't know, or maybe he's just speculating. But either way, interesting comments with regards to Ukraine and Poland. It's something that a lot of us are talking about, and we're also trying to figure out what's going to happen vis-a-vis Ukraine and Poland. Is Poland going to make a move? Is Poland going to absorb a certain part of the west of Ukraine, Lviv, and that area? Is Poland not going to do anything because Poland has its own problems? From what I understand, Poland doesn't have tanks, and they're begging Germany to get them tanks. Poland doesn't have coal. It has a coal shortage because of the sanctions they placed on Russia. Businesses in Poland, energy businesses are saying we don't have coal. So we're going to need to start rationing our coal this summer because come winter, we're not going to have any coal for the people. So you have these problems as well that Poland is facing. So I'm wondering if Poland is going to take a step back and maybe rethink what it might have done with regards to Ukraine, with regards to making a move on Ukraine, on the west of Ukraine. Anyway, here you have Yanukovych sounding off with regards to Poland. Let's move on now to Belarus and Ukraine. And Lukashenko, 2 days ago, he created, let's take a walk actually. Let's take a walk. So you guys can see some of Sydagma Square. Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, made a statement a couple of days ago, and he said that they're going to be creating in Belarus a military control center in the south because of the threats they face vis-a-vis Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, the Baltic states, etc. And it's interesting that he said they're going to create a military command and control center in the south when Lukashenko said the threats that he faces are towards mostly the west. Down south is Ukraine. So that's an interesting thing to take note of. Anyway, yesterday we had the Belarus military also come out with a statement saying they're going to be creating citizens militia. I don't want to say mobilization, but they're going to beef up their military. Right now, the Belarus military is something like, I think it's like 90,000 or 100,000 professional military with 400,000 reserves. And this militia is going to increase their military. It's going to double or triple their military. And they're saying that they're doing this once again because of the hostilities in Ukraine. And they feel like something may be going down. So keep an eye out for Belarus and what's going on there. I wonder if as we move into phase 3, of the Russian special military operation, I wonder if Belarus is going to come down south and do something there with Russia. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm just throwing it out there. Let's since we're talking about Ukraine, let's do I want to keep on walking or do I want to sit down? Well, let's walk here real quick and see what's happening. fix the camera a little bit. What's going on in Ukraine real quick? Severodonetsk and Lysychansk, that area in Lugansk, in North Lugansk, is, from what I understand, it has now been surrounded. E-bike festival. E-bike festival. This sign right here. This is the electric company, the state electric company. So yeah, you better get your e-bikes ready, Greece, because we're gonna have electricity shortages. Get those e-bikes ready. Yeah, what was I saying? Lugansk, Lysychansk, Severodonetsk. I said that there was one road that was still available for Ukraine to possibly retreat, but even if they did retreat, they would come under fire from the Russian military. Well, from what I understand, I'm not going to go this way because of music. And the last time I had music in a video, YouTube the other day told me that that's a no-go. So no music. Let's do another walk around. So yeah, I said that there was that road that might be able to get some of the Ukraine military that's trapped in the cauldron out. Well, from what I understand, that road is now closed off, or is about to be closed off. And the whole that whole big cauldron of 16,000 Ukraine military, which is actually more like 3 cauldrons, but just picture a big encirclement, a lot of other little encirclements in Lugansk. 16,000 Ukraine military. From what I understand, they're either closed off, they're either encircled, or they're going to be encircled like any day, any minute now. So that retreat route, which may have been a possibility, maybe not, well, it seems like that's off the table as well. And you have the news about Zaporozhye and what's happening in the south of Ukraine. Alexander has noted that he believes the next city that the Russians are going to focus on is Zaporozhye, the city of Zaporozhye. And they have a big plant called Motor Sich, which makes a lot of engines, airplane and helicopter engines. It's a massive plant, something like Azovstal, but maybe even bigger. Big industry there. They had an agreement with China, but it looks like the Chinese, they don't need to work with them anymore. And the Chinese have finally told the Russians, you know what, we don't need Motor Sich and we don't need to work with them. So you guys can begin to make your move. And it looks like the Russians have started to make their move and to plan out what they're going to do with Zaporozhye, with the city of Zaporozhye, which is a big city. It's a big industrial city. And so you have the news coming out that authorities in Zaporozhye are actually thinking of just retreating, of just saying we're out. And I can't confirm this, so I'm not going to say this is a definite, but you are getting a lot of talk that the Kiev regime, the Kiev-sponsored regime in Zaporozhye is they're packing their bags and they're pulling what the Afghanistan president at the time did, the president or the prime minister. They're packing their bags full of money and they're bolting. The regional center is now under the control of Ukrainian authorities, Zaporozhye, but Kiev is preparing to surrender Zaporozhye. A member of the administration of the Zaporozhye region said, quote, now almost around the clock, there is a discussion on the evacuation. Zelensky's representatives in the city are already at a low start, looking for escape routes for evacuation and also taking out all the most valuable things from the city, this representative said. And this is a Google translation from a Russian telegram. But there's a lot of talk now, saying that the Zelensky appointed administrators in Zaporozhye are bolting. I can't confirm it, but if that is the case, then I would imagine that we're not going to see a Mariupol. What happened in Mariupol happened in Zaporozhye, and we're going to probably see the Russians move in fairly easily. I'm not saying that's a definite. I'm not saying this this news is a definite, but I am hearing it from a lot of different sources that the Zelensky regime is fleeing Zaporozhye. They're bolting before the Russians come. So, with that said, let's do a clown world. And this is courtesy of Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister of Canada, who I believe is the de facto ruler of Canada. And she has, I always say this with Chrystia Freeland, she has some very, very interesting ties, family ties, to some very nasty Stepan Bandera associated people. You can Yandex search her and you'll see what I mean. Anyway, Chrystia Freeland at a G7 meeting, she said that she was approached by various Russian business people that she knew from the times when she was a journalist in Russia. She hates Russia, by the way. She hates Putin with a passion for obvious family reasons, family history reasons. She hates the Russians, but she was working as a journalist there, I believe with the New York Times, Washington Post, or the Wall Street Journal. Anyway, a big media publication. She was working there, and she said that she met a lot of business people, and she forged a lot of connections with these business people, and they have approached her now, and they said, Chrystia, how about if you remove sanctions on us, because a lot of these Russian oligarchs, they have sanctions imposed on them. How about if you remove sanctions on us, and if you do that, we will donate money to Ukraine reconstruction. And according to Freeland, she's tabled that offer. She's put that offer out there for the other G7 countries to consider it. In other words, I said there's a pirate world theme to this. This is not clown world. This is a pirate world segment, because this is also this is like mafia tactics. These are pirate tactics. So basically what Freeland is saying, if you believe her story, she is saying, we will remove sanctions from Russian business people. We will take them off the sanctions list if they give us money. If they give us money. Of course, she's saying it's going to go to Ukraine reconstruction and all this. What a bunch of bullocks that is. That's BS. That Russian oligarchs are going to pay money to get off of the sanctions database, and that money is going to be going to Ukrainian reconstruction. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you, as Alexander said. We know that that money is going to go straight into the pockets of the political class. We know it. Basically, this is a shakedown, mafia tactics, plain and simple. You want to get off the sanctions list, Mr. Oligarch? Well, pay us. Pay us and we'll remove you from the sanctions list. And we'll say the money's going to Ukraine reconstruction. Wow, these people are criminals. These people are common freaking criminals. That's if you believe the story coming out of Freeland. I believe it. I believe that there are Russian oligarchs there who are saying, you know what? I need to do business in the West. I want to be off I want to be out of this sanctions database. I want to be off this list. So if I have to pay $5-10 million, I'm worth $5 billion. What's $5-10 million to me, or $20 million? It's no big deal, and they'll pay it so that they can get removed from being sanctioned. I believe that story, and I believe that Chrystia Freeland is saying, great, this is a great payday. And she sat there with her G7 buddies, Janet Yellen and all of these nasty characters, these finance ministers who were at the G7, and she sat there with them, and they said, this is great. Yeah, let's get these oligarchs, let's have them pay us $20 million a pop, and we'll delete them from the sanctions. Piracy, mafia tactics, call it what you will, but these are some nasty individuals. Once again, it also shows that the collective West, I believe they're just trying to pocket as much money as they can before the whole thing starts crumbling down. Just get as much money as you can before the whole thing crashes. And they're squeezing every nickel and dime out of the Ukraine Zelensky project. That's how I see it. Anyway, that's the clown world. In this segment, I've called it the Pirate World segment, and I will leave it there. Check out Alexander's channel. Check out the Duran channel. We did a great live stream. We had Gonzalo on for a bit, and he told us the situation in Kharkov, which was really interesting. So check out that live stream that we did yesterday on the Duran channel. And Alexander is putting out all kinds of really, really interesting analysis on what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and the world. And the Duran.locals.com. I'm coming to you from downtown central Athens on a Saturday morning. People are out and about, and they're getting ready to shop, I guess. I'm going to get a coffee, and I'm going to get a breakfast, an omelet or something, and I'm going to edit this video and get it up to you guys. Take care.